Ah, Netflix, you beautiful bastard. It giveth and it taketh so easy. I'm looking at the brand new Space Force.
No, God!
That's the new show that landed on Netflix last night and stars Steve Carell and John Malkovich and Lisa Kudrow in a tiny, tiny little part. Don't know why. And it is pretty bad.
No, God, please, no! No!
This is not a big review and it's not a proper review because it's the first impressions. I've only watched the first episode. I have access to all other 9. They're about half an hour long, so it's not that much of an ask. Or is it? Yes.
No!
For me, it is. I watched just one episode of Island a while ago, and I refused to watch any more of it because it was so poorly put together. Bad writing, bad acting. The difference about this show is that you've got brilliant actors who are trying their hardest to act with some sloppy, sloppy dialogue, really pretty fucking terrible story writing, and a preposterous idea because it's not even preposterous, because it's a real thing. But then again, this is coming out of the machinations and mind of someone like Donald Trump, who's pretty much diseased, if you ask me. And, you know, making a show around that, you would think, ha ha ha, it's funny, because the idea of a Space Force alongside the Navy and the Air Force and the Army is kind of ludicrous right now. There aren't exactly aliens out there that we're fighting off. We're not exactly fighting for, space, the space in space, or space of, fuck it. But yeah, basically this idea came from, of course, Trump a while ago. And they even reference, for goodness sake, the tweets that he keeps sending out. And of course, this is the kind of lowbrow humor you're going to get in this. He wants to put boobs on the moon. We think he meant boots. Forced. Yeah, that's pretty much the level of humor that you're going to get in this. And that is just phenomenal to me. When you have actors like Steve Carell and Malkovich, you kind of expect something amazing, don't you? So these guys must have signed on with the idea, because the idea of Space Force, the series, is funny. Because it's based on reality, and as they always say, reality is weirder than sort of science fiction, and this show isn't even being science fiction. It's just being real, I suppose. And the problem in this is that the humor just doesn't work. It lands poorly, and that comes down to bad writing. You can have the best actors in the world. If you're going to put them into a show with shitty writing, you're not going to get anything. You can get the other way. You can get the inverse, though. You can get really, really great writing and actors that you've never even heard of. Let's look at Community back in the day. Most people never heard of Joel Kinnaman, McHale, and Brio, and all these people. You never heard of these goddamn people, and the writing was phenomenal, and now it's a cult. This is not going to be a cult following, I can promise you right now. It's not going to get a cult following because it's not worth it. Just give you a bit more as far as the humor is concerned. They have the whole thing like when you walk into your office and you're like, you didn't tell me so-and-so is here, and you look at your secretary, and the secretary's like, forgot to tell you, because I promised not to tell the person that they were in there to you. I promised to keep it a secret. We don't know why. Every single person that arrives in General R. Nayad, or whatever his name is, and that's Steve Carell's character. He's a 4-star general, you see, of Space Force. He walks into his office and there's always someone waiting there, and he never gets told that someone's waiting there. And this is a joke that goes on 5, 6, 7, and maybe even 8 times in a 32-minute episode. So that's quite a few of the same fucking joke forced onto you, hence the Space Forced. And that is basically the level of humor in this. You also have a character who is a 4-star general who you would assume is professional. They even show he's professional to the point of ridiculousness, that he's lying in bed with his wife, he goes to the toilet, but before he goes to the toilet, he folds down the blankets and puts his pillow up and everything, and leaves Lisa Kudrow in her 3.5-minute slot in bed and goes to the toilet, comes back. So he's a hardworking person, but he's also a buffoon in this, which is a very difficult line. Is he a buffoon? Or is he a hardworking guy who has to deal with buffoons around him? And you just can't feel that. There's no defining edge to it. They have one scene where he starts singing because he's having a panic attack. A 4-star general's having a panic attack about a launch. What? Anyway, he starts having a panic attack, and we get a 2-minute of him going, Barbados, da-da-da, and singing. And it's like, oh, God, Steve, what are you doing? It's not like the awkward of The Office, which was a brilliant show because the writing was brilliant. Making a show about a paper factory or paper company, and making it good is because the characters are written well. This is not written well. It's yawn fest. The only good thing about it is John Malkovich's character, because he's quite funny. He's a little bit sharp and just kind of ignores everything as a scientist in this show. And the interaction between him and Steve is pretty good too, because they are professional actors. They're heavy-hitting actors. But again, this is a poorly put together show. It has a lot of money thrown at it, and it's once again Netflix giving and taking, because they are probably going to force a season 2 onto us. Forced. and we're going to have to deal with that, and millions and millions of dollars are getting thrown at us. So this is, like I said, this is just a quick sort of rant, because I sat down last night, I was like, yes, 10 hours of some fun, during the COVID outbreak, something great. And this is after me coming off watching Brassic Season 2, which is a Sky show, really worth watching, by the way, really fun. And I sat there with my red, and I think had a dip and everything, and I was like, after 10 minutes, I was like, what the hell? I haven't laughed once. And you've got, like I say, really great actors here. The directing is competent. There's nothing wrong with that. The sound score is not bad either. But it's just all over the place. I wouldn't even say it's all over the place, because that would imply it's trying to do something. But it's not overreaching. It's not reaching. It's coming up with the old stereotypical tropes of he talks to an Asian scientist who says his surname's Chan. And he's like, where are you from? And he's like, Oklahoma. Ha ha ha, because you thought he was from China because he's an Asian person. Jesus. It's not good. It really isn't good. And I don't know what to do, because I was looking forward to it. All right, going to have to start watching Community again, because I'm certainly not watching an episode 2 of this shit. Catch you guys later.